It's not about politics, it's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. He's just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
I just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Issues Football, powered by Pro Football Focus. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner, coming to you from the heart of the Banks in downtown Cincinnati, Holy Grail Tavern and Grill, where we are trying to get the vibe of what might be the biggest game in the NFL season. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Buffalo Bills. We want to switch it up, Mike, to make sure that we got the vibe of the city for this show, because it's could be the biggest show that we have all year. How you feeling, my friend?
Feeling great. One seed's in play tonight. AFC North's in play tonight. And we had a great weekend of football to recap. We had the semifinals, probably the best semifinals in college football
that we've
seen. Prospects, performances like C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young obviously not in the semifinal, Quentin Johnson all playing their asses off. And then we had a slate on Sunday that was equally interesting. So let's get to it.
It's a jam-packed Monday.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Monday shows are always a lot of fun, but you pair college football with what we saw yesterday in the NFL, plus we're going to preview, of course, everything that you're going to see from the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills today. Might be a couple, adult beverages that also make their way on the show. I don't know. It's a little bit early. It's before noon, but look, right. You said it perfectly. Yeah. It's not that early. It's not too early to celebrate what's going to be one of the biggest games of the entire football season. Of course, if you're around here and you know what we do on a Monday, we're going to be having the same schedule where we go over the game that we want to talk about the most, the game that shaped the playoffs, the game that shaped the draft. We'll also talk about the game that didn't make sense, plus a lot of other things. We're coming down to the wire. There's playoff implications with it. Felt like every single game, even going into the Pittsburgh Steelers' big win last night, which you came in and you said, hold up. Can the Steelers still make the playoffs? Yeah. Yes, they can, baby. There's so many other teams that can as well. Quinn, I know we don't have a camera on you, but we know that you are here driving the show from behind. Hopefully you still have a mic to get on the show. Do you?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a mic.
It was going to be awkward if I threw it out to you and then I got nothing back.
Yeah, you can't see me, but no, I'll always be here.
A John Cena. You're the John Cena.
Yeah, I like that.
Can't see.
I will happily take that. That's a big compliment.
How are we feeling? I need to ask you specifically, because obviously you're our resident Bengals fan. Sorry, Eli. Eli doesn't have a mic, so I don't.
Eli's here too.
Eli is here, and he's wearing a phenomenal starter jacket, but he doesn't have a mic, so I can't get his opinion in on it. How are we feeling today, Quinn? What's the vibe as a Bengals fan right now going into this game?
Well, first of all, the vibe. This is going to be a playoff atmosphere. It is.
Oh, it already is.
It's just after 11:15. We got the local news guys here, and they just opened. Holy Grail just opened, and I think I see some beers being ordered. So anytime you're drinking beers before noon, Monday Night Football game, end of the year, that's a playoff type atmosphere.
We looked it up at the end of last week. What did we say? It was 6 hours from Buffalo to Cincinnati, right?
Something
Isn't
like
that what it is?
They're out.
About
you can see them walking around. They are out and about.
Bills fans were going wild last night. I could tell none of y'all had work because you guys are out to like 2:30 in the morning celebrating, making a big trip out of it, but why not?
Yeah, these are two of the rowdier fan bases in the NFL. Let's give some credit. So this day is going to be, everyone's off work because it's obviously how you observe, New Year's Day. This is when you get it off. So there's going to be a lot of action, shall we say, here down the Banks.
Tables beware. Yeah. No table is safe. Yeah, whether you're at a bar, at a tailgate, no matter what it is. I feel like Bills fans, Bengals fans are going to be going crazy.
We're going to keep these tables safe. Holy Grail was nice enough to let us come in and have our show. We will not allow broken
It's because you signed the waiver, isn't it? It's because you're responsible for it if we break any tables. That's the only reason.
I didn't sign anything, but I'll take responsibility.
That's the only reason why he's saying that.
I like Holy Grail.
Hey, do we have a question today to get us started off here? We'll still be able to do
absolutely have a question.
Let's get it. Let's do it.
Only 7 NFL quarterbacks have posted multiple seasons of 40-plus passing touchdowns. Name those quarterbacks.
7?
7 quarterbacks.
40-plus.
Multiple 40 touchdown seasons.
Correct.
I'll start with
Manning,
Brady,
Breeze.
Which Manning?
Oh.
We'll say Peyton.
Yeah.
I think I would say Aaron Rodgers as well.
Yeah.
I believe.
Does he have 2?
So we said Manning, Brady, Breeze, Rodgers. I'd say Mahomes too.
Mahomes, of course. So it's 4.
That's 5.
Oh, if you're counting Rodgers, it's 5. Yeah.
I think Rodgers is up there. He definitely did in 2011.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, was there another one in there?
Did he not win the last 2 years? Or 14? Those are his MVP seasons.
I felt like those years he had like high 30s with super low interceptions.
Yeah.
But he might have eclipsed it. I'm not sure.
In another year. So those 5, I'll say. That's got to be recent, right? I would think. I know didn't Dante Culpepper go for over 40 like back in the 2000s? I'm betting he probably didn't.
You know what a sneaky one is to me?
I mean, Marino, right? I would imagine.
But multiple? Did Marino have multiple?
He used to have the record.
I think so.
So I
think we'll put Marino in there.
Yeah.
So Marino would be 6.
6.
And there's 7 total. The sneaky one could be Derek Carr.
Carr?
I feel like he's thrown for a ton of yards.
That would no.
Right?
I don't think so.
Carr's been right around 5,000 yards for like 4 years straight.
I can't guess Carr on principle.
Okay, that's fair.
Who would be in that mix?
I feel like there's going to be...
I think Roethlisberger could be in that mix.
Ooh.
Especially...
Quinn is asking the question, so is Burrow one of them?
See, that's what Burrow, Andy Dalton, Carson Palmer. We got to think of all the former Bengals quarterbacks.
We do.
No, I think I would lean Big Ben. So who do we have? We had Breeze, Brady,
Rodgers,
Manning, Mahomes.
Somebody said Stafford in
Marino,
the chat.
And I think I'll go Roethlisberger.
I'm going to check the chat as much as possible today, but just so you guys know, or the internet that my personal computer is on isn't the greatest, so if I'm not going back and forth with you guys as much, just know it's not because I hate you. It's because I hate the public internet.
It's live TV.
It is live TV, and we're just going to have to work with it. All right, so are you comfortable with that? What was the 7th one? You going Roethlisberger?
Roethlisberger, yeah. I think I'll say Roethlisberger.
We'll think about it a little bit, as we often do. We'll get the answer to the question today at the very end of the show, but that's what we're going with. Somebody else said Stafford.
Yeah,
Could.
I wonder if there's someone like back before, like maybe Brett Favre or someone that we're not thinking of, like early 2000s when like passing was still. Who else would be in that mix?
I think we've got a really solid 5 or 6, but that 7th one is up in the air. So we'll get back to you guys. We'll have you give your final answers at the end of the show. But dude, let's dig into these games because we got a lot that we're going to get to. There's going to be an extended segment even further than we normally do. We're going to get to talk about as many games as possible. But of course, Mike, we start every Monday off with the game you want to talk about the most.
Oh, do we have a game we want to talk about the most?
Go ahead.
I'd like to talk about the
Take your
Minnesota
victory lap,
Vikings.
baby. Let's hear it.
Heading to Green Bay to face the Packers. The game I said that the Packers would win. A game that the Packers won by halftime.
No bias. No bias
whatsoever.
No.
But I do think it's worth exploring the Packers turnaround. 4-game winning streak now. They win next week. They are in the playoffs. Obviously, in this game, a few bounces went their way, shall we say. But they thoroughly outplayed this Vikings team. And now the Vikings aren't, we've said for a while now, probably the most fraudulent 12-win team in recent memory. This is not – there's a reason why everyone's kind of like couching them with – not putting them in the same conversation as the 49ers, not putting them in the same conversation as the Eagles, despite being right there record-wise.
Sure.
But I think the Packers, over the last 4 games, 5th best defense in terms of EPA per play against, highest graded cornerback group in the NFL.
I believe that.
Jair Alexander playing his ass off, but not only him, Rasul Douglas also playing his ass off, and then Keyshawn Nixon. This guy, the kick returner. 2nd straight game with a big kick return. Obviously, a kick return touchdown this game. Over the last 4 weeks, 41.5 yards per return on 10 returns. Leads the NFL in return yardage, and he came to the Packers. Started return kicks in Week 8, half the season. And he is the leading kick returner in the NFL. I don't know what they were doing in practice, but it was not watching this guy return kicks because he is electric every time he touches the football.
So this game is my what shaped the playoffs. So just for the sake of conversation, we'll keep it here. But, man, I got to give it to your Packers, man. They're playing super well. And it's, obviously when you have been talking about over the last couple of weeks, Packers making the playoffs has kind of been rolling my eyes when we've been doing the bracketology episodes on Friday. But they're legit.
Yes.
And a lot of people have looked at this Packers team and said, when the offense can get it figured out, if the receivers can just get it figured out, then that's when this team's really going to come alive. Mike, it's the defense, man.
Yes.
I mean, you look at Rodgers, his stats weren't great yesterday. Now, he didn't do anything to blow it, and he still had some big-time passes, but you mentioned the receivers are stepping up. The offense is better. It feels like they've got more chemistry together, but the defense is why this team is actually about to make the playoffs. Yes. How they're deploying that secondary, the pressure that they're able to get up front. It was so mind-boggling what the Packers were doing earlier this year and how it felt like they were misusing some of their best players. Put Jair Alexander on the other team's best wide receiver, and that's what happened. He went up against Justin Jefferson,
15 yards.
Had 1 catch for 15 yards yesterday.
And that was like a garbage time catch, too. They were off quarters in that when he did get that one. So when they were actually...
Did you see Justin Jefferson spear the ref with his helmet, too?
That was pretty wild. I can't believe he didn't get ejected for that. But alas. I will also say the other thing about the Packers, they had a lot of young guys trying to make contributions at the beginning of the season. Whether it was the receiving core, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, whether it was defensively with Quay Walker at linebacker, all of those guys, and Devontae Wyatt at defensive tackle, all those guys now kind of have gone past that rookie learning curve in the NFL and look like actual, not high-end starters by any means, not elite players by any means, but they're actually making an impact on this roster now. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like what's different from the beginning of the season until now. It's that those guys aren't making rookie mistakes to cost you. They're actually value adds to your team.
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time. You got to be able to peak at the playoffs, right? You got to be playing your best ball down the stretch, and it feels like the Packers are, and that kind of makes them a dangerous team. Whether it's an old Aaron Rodgers, a young Aaron Rodgers, whatever it is, he's still the back-to-back MVP, and he can still give them a lot of wisdom in that offense, even if maybe the arm is not exactly what it's been before. So Packers are scary, man. And on the flip side, I'll just talk about the Vikings a little bit. Very interesting scenario now with them in the playoffs because their loss and the 49ers win means the 49ers swap spots with them. The 49ers go to the 2 spot. Vikings now drop to the 3, which isn't too big of a deal for them. They're still going to host a playoff game. But their opponent now is the team that took them down to the wire a week ago in the New York Giants.
I was going to say you want the 3 spot if you're in the NFC right now.
Well,
right? 3 spot's going to be the Giants.
I guess I'm thinking about it, and
you don't want the 2 spot.
You don't want to play the Packers again if the Packers
or the Lions
make it
right now with their offense. Those are the 2 teams you're going to play if you're facing the 7th seed. So I think
okay. So how about this conversation then? I just brought up them getting the 3 seed and having to play the Giants as an issue.
Yeah.
Are we just going to be worried about the Vikings no matter what?
Oh, I mean, you're worried about the Vikings no matter what. Don't get it wrong.
Right.
But
I mean, I guess I kind of am too.
I will say, like, if you are picking between, would you rather play Lions or Packers right now, or would you rather play the Giants? I think every team in the NFC right now would rather play Giants. I think you would.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, I mean, you just go back to how tight that game was between the Vikings and the Giants, and how it took a field goal at the last second for the Vikings to end up winning that game.
Yeah. So
it's going to be tough for the Vikings no matter what. Okay, the game that I want to talk about the most: New York Jets, Seattle Seahawks. Seattle wins this game in Seattle. Obviously, the playoff implications for them are the Seahawks stay alive in the playoffs. Jets get eliminated. But more importantly for the Jets, it's how this game went, of why I want to talk about it. This is going to be one of the most aggressive teams in the NFL to go get a quarterback this offseason. Whether it's going to be a drafted guy, which I don't think is going to be the case, or more likely a free agent quarterback, a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Derek Carr. People throw around Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers' names. I don't know if Tom Brady is going to go to the New York Jets.
It's
but
Tom Brady.
I think that this is going to be a fascinating watch because of exactly how this game went down. The Jets are not where they need to be on the offensive line or quarterback. And I think with Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, that connection of GM head coach, it's not that they need to get fully desperate, but I think you're going to see some elements of that in this offseason to go get a much better quarterback, to fix the offensive line the way that they need to. This is the game that I want to talk about the most just because I think the Jets are going to be the centerpiece of the entire offseason in the NFL because they're going to dominate the veteran quarterback market and how desperate they might be in the draft to go up and get a really good offensive lineman to make sure that they can compete next year.
Yeah, and the pieces are all there. You have Mike White playing one of the worst games I've seen a quarterback play this year, and now it's, you're a backup quarterback. He was never expected to play as well as he did when he did first take over the job, but going from what they could, where they're at now with quarterback, which was probably bottom 2 to 3 in the NFL in terms of quarterback play, to be almost making the playoffs with that level of quarterback play is a minor miracle in today's NFL. That if you go to the flip side, like if you do get an Aaron Rodgers, you go to the flip side, you get a top 10 quarterback in the fold here. This is a team that can compete with the Bills and the Dolphins in the AFC wholesale next year. Because the way Sauce Gardner's playing, the way this defense is playing right now, Sauce Gardner went up against DK Metcalf, allowed 13 yards.
He was unbelievable again.
3-4 incompletions. That might have been his best game I saw from him all season long.
Yeah.
Electric stuff from it. I mean, and that's as a rookie. Like he's feasibly getting better in that defense. So, yeah, Jets, unfortunate, but this was never your year if Zach Wilson wasn't going to make the lead. Never going to be your year.
I just think this game was so important because now the Jets know.
Yes.
Like there's no, hey, yeah, shoot, you even turned the clock back a week ago. And I was talking to Jets fans that were saying, when Derek Carr gets benched, I'm like, hey, Derek Carr could very well be a New York Jet. And a lot of Jets fans were just like, whoa, hold on. Mike White, let's see what he's got. And now you kind of see that, okay, sure, he's done some good things for you, but are you going to go into next season with the season on his shoulders. No, you're not going to do that. So that's why I wanted to talk about this one the most. Shouting out the Jets, shouting out where they could be this offseason and how they're really going to control things. What about you? What was the game that shaped the playoffs for you?
Game that shaped the playoffs was the game that shaped the NFC North. Bucks, Panthers. It was nice sitting on the couch, being able to bet legally, seeing the Bucks go down 14-0, and just knowing that they still have Tom Brady at quarterback, and that no matter what, he's going to somehow get cakewalked to at least NFC Championship game, if not a Super Bowl this year, just because it's Tom Brady.
Wow.
So knowing that, seeing them go down 14-0, bet it plus 255 and cash that check. But that game just, Mike Evans finally getting back in the fold is massive for them. And he even said after the game, Mike Evans said that Brady told him, no matter what, he's going to keep going to him in this game, that he's going to get him back on track. Because obviously you said on the Friday show about how he just has not been producing of late, how that connection has not been there. And oh, by the way, 207 yards for Mike Evans, 3 scores. Now his 9th straight 1,000-yard season to start his career.
Yep.
That connection's there in the playoffs. This is a different team than we've seen all year long. And obviously, I've talked about the talent being there, just the coaching not. We see that turn around even a little bit. They're as scary as anyone to win this NFC right now.
Now, let's be honest here. I would love to praise the Bucs as much as possible, but we'll be honest here. The cornerback group for the Carolina Panthers yesterday, not great.
Yeah.
C.J. Henderson, who was giving some of the worst effort that we. Okay. He was giving an awful effort. Keith Taylor, not good yet again. And Josh Norman, who 1 week ago was serving coffee as a barista in Atlanta, Georgia.
Which I love when, entrepreneurship from former players. Applaud that.
And a week later, he's guarding Julio Jones.
Yeah.
And had a pass breakup on it. So, I mean, shout out to Josh Norman. But this was a game that the Bucs obviously on paper should have won anyways. But still, looking at where this team was, for them to have that performance was really important for them. There were still some coaching blunders, kicking the field goal when you're on the 4-yard line, 4th and 1. I mean, you got to be able to go for it there. And then the timeout management afterwards, I think, is still bad. So they've still got coaching blunders going into the playoffs. But there's clearly a team that is playing a little bit better. Shout out to Mike Evans, 207 receiving yards, 2 yards off of his career high that he had back in 2014. And you're right, 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons is pretty unfathomable. Now, this game, to continue this conversation, is my game that shaped the draft because of what happened on the other side. Carolina's had a fantastic bounce back from when they fired Matt Rule. They were in contention to take the NFC South, or at least have a chance at it if they got a win this weekend. If you win a division and you're a playoff team, you automatically, the lowest you could pick in the draft order is 19th. The Carolina Panthers need a quarterback. And now instead, because of this loss yesterday, they're back picking in the top 10. And they're going to pick in the top 10 because they've been eliminated from the playoffs. That's huge for them. The Panthers did not want to make the playoffs. For as much as you want to say, hey, morale going into next year, and even if you said, all right, Steve Wilkes, if he's the head coach next year, it's a lot of really good momentum for him going into the next year. You did not want to make the playoffs. You have to get a top 10 draft pick. You have to be in range to go get a franchise quarterback. That's what Carolina needs. And so this has been a great season for Carolina. And I would argue that it's been a perfect season for Carolina, right? Because you get all things considered. You'd rather be
drafting top 2, 3.
Okay, fair. But at least the roster that you constructed isn't catastrophic. At least you know that you're not starting over completely, and instead you're still in range to go get a good quarterback.
But they are now drafting for the 4th straight year in the top 10.
But I'm just saying. They are where they are. Yeah. I would rather have them be building a little bit towards something and be able to still go get the quarterback. Because they're still going to have a shot at Will Levis or C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, they may have to make a trade up, though, to do so. But
they're at least
they're
in range.
I will say, the interesting thing, though, Sam Darnold has played probably the best football.
Don't do this.
Don't do this. No, not for Carolina.
Don't do this.
But where he ends up is interesting to me, because he was a guy who was very young coming out. He's still only 25 years old. He's a year older than Kenny Pickett right now.
Same age as Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
Beat me to it.
He could be there we go. He could be playing in the playoff right now. But that's the best. This is the best he's looked at any point in his career over this last 5 games.
I would agree with that.
To see where
I would agree with that.
He ends up. Now, obviously, I don't think Carolina should be that team, but we've seen teams talk themselves into worse quarterbacks. I'll just say that. So
Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Sam Darnold. You heard it here first.
Could be. It could be.
All right, what's your game that shaped the draft?
My game that shaped the draft was the one that was really shaping the draft. It was the Falcons, Cardinals. On one hand, Desmond Ritter's best game he's had all season. Looked the best that he has looked since he obviously took over as the starter.
Last 2 games have been good.
Not a high bar, but it was the best he's looked all season. Cardinals, on the other hand, now they're picking 4th overall, firmly in the mix. You are, fingers crossed, hoping and praying, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter sitting there on the board for you with the 4th overall pick. Very possible that could be the case if 2 quarterbacks come off the board in the top 3 picks. So I think Cardinals are in an ideal spot to hit reset on this roster. You have the quarterback in place. He may not be playing next year after the torn ACL, Kyler Murray, but you have a chance now to really build a team in a different vision, Sal always say. You'll have the draft capital. You have the options to do so. And on the Falcons side, you still have a top pick. You still have a top 10 pick. Yeah, 8th overall pick. Yeah, you may not be getting, and I think with the way Ritter's played, you may not be desperate to go quarterback at this point. So we talked about the Panthers' desperation. Falcons I wouldn't put in that same category. And at that point, you can go get a Quentin Johnston. You can go get a Tyree Wilson. You can go get someone like a Brian Branch and really just get a damn good football player to add to this roster, because you were fairly close. You were fairly close this year to making the playoffs despite having a lot of holes on this roster.
Yeah, I would tell you that, Ritter's play says that you don't need to force a quarterback in the top 10.
I think that's the fair point.
When you look at yesterday's game against the Cardinals, this is a beat-up, unmotivated Cardinals team. This is a sinking ship. David Blau was their starting quarterback, okay? They still gained 340 yards on the Falcons.
Defense back.
And to me, I would tell you that starts up front. Yes, they need help in the secondary, but they've got nobody. They only have 2 players. Grady Jarrett and Abdullah Anderson, I think, are the only 2 who have a pass rush grade on the season above 56. 56. It's terrible. Yeah. Now, I know you drafted Arnold Ebiketie last year, and I like Arnold Ebiketie, but you still got to get a lot better on the defensive line.
Yeah, you could use.
I think that top 10 picks got to be defensive line for the Falcons.
So the difference between the Falcons' defensive line and say one of the better defensive lines, say the Bills, obviously one of the better defensive lines in the NFL, is 4 guys, 4 quality starters is the difference between what they're trotting out and what the Bills are trotting out. The Bills could lose 4 players and still be as good as the Falcons along the defensive line.
Sure.
That's how much they need to invest at that position.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thought, is that Ritter, I think, again, looked pretty confident. My bold prediction last week of him getting his first touchdown pass, and it would be multiple touchdown passes, that did not happen, but I do still think he looked good. So I'm going to take
my bold predictions happen.
I'm going to take no. Did McDuffie get a pick?
Oh, McDuffie didn't get a pick.
McDuffie didn't get a pick.
One of mine have.
Yeah, so one of mine happened too.
Well, yours wasn't that cool.
Dude, I said that Mike Evans would get 200 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, and the Bucs would win and clinch the NFC South. You forgot? Yeah. Go back and watch the show. Okay, what's the game that didn't make sense? Of all the games that we saw this past weekend, what's the game that didn't?
The game that didn't make sense was Jarrett Stidham torching
the
49ers defense. He went for the only player who threw for more yards against 49ers defense this year was Patrick Mahomes. No player threw for more touchdowns than Jarrett Stidham did against this 49ers.
I mean, Stidham and Mahomes, it's been a debate for years now.
That has been. So now that's going to be Stidham versus Mahomes is going to be the next decade in the AFC West.
Right, of course, obviously. Of course. The arms race in the AFC West, we were, of course, talking about Stidham.
The irony of this is that he looked as good, if not better, than Derek Carr has at any point this season.
I know, man.
Basically torching. You bench Derek Carr to torch his trade value to still not make the playoffs. Now, it's not going to torch it entirely, but I do think people are going to see what happened to Russell Wilson this year, to a lesser degree Deshaun Watson this year, and how they've looked in new situations, and be a little hesitant to give up a lot for Derek Carr this offseason, because they're obviously going to be trading him. They're obviously going to be parting ways, some way, shape, or form. I think someone's going to be not really – I would be surprised if they got a wholesale first-round pick to go get Derek Carr. I just would at this point.
I don't think they're getting a first for Derek Carr. I've never really thought that they would get a first. I think it's going to be some sort of day 2 pick.
Could be 2 and a 4, but I don't
that
think
feels
getting,
comfortable.
Yeah.
That feels comfortable to me. I feel like it's going to be comparable to what Wentz was, because because Wentz went for a conditional. Well, first he went for a conditional second and first.
He did go for a first.
But I think we're looking at probably the secondary Wentz trade, where it's a conditional second or a third, especially because Carr's got more money on his contract. In order to make that worth it for you, you'd either be okay with putting $40 million on the cap for the next 2 years, or you've got to restructure him, which means you're probably re-signing him, extending the contract a little bit. So because I think that's a little bit tricky, I do think it's probably going to be a day 2 pick. I agree with you. Game didn't make sense for me. Browns Commanders. What are we supposed to make of the Washington Commanders at this point? Browns win this game. Browns didn't really look good. I mean, they looked fine at times, but the Commanders just looked incompetent especially with Carson Wentz at quarterback. You make the change to go back to Carson Wentz. I get it. Taylor Heineke was kind of reverting back to his old turnover ways, which was not happening the first couple of games that he started, and we were all talking about him a lot. So I understand the change, but Wentz looked terrible yesterday. Wentz looked absolutely awful, and on top of that, after the game, Ron Rivera didn't even know that they could get eliminated from the playoffs. I get it. You're tunnel vision. You're focused on your team. You're focusing on winning anyways. It doesn't really matter. But, like, you kind of got to know, you know?
Friend of the program, Ron Rivera, so let's go easy.
This is true. Friend of the program. But, like, Ron could have called us. We could have told him. We could have let you know, Ron. It's just a weird look. Have the game that they had, Carson Wentz looking as bad as he did.
I'll say this. That wasn't as crazy as that. Like, coaches focus on what they can focus on.
And I agree with that. It is a little strange.
Yeah, it was a little bit, but I don't think it's that big a deal. The thing is, this just was never a good team. They have the 4th worst point differential in the NFC right now, the Commanders, and they're 7-8. Like, they just never should have been 7-8.
Yeah.
They kind of caught the Heineke high end of his variance, a little lucky throughout the course of the season.
I would definitely agree with that.
This was the team they were all year long. An incompetent offense in many levels being the quarterback position.
I think
just not quite there.
I think offensive line's on the table for the Washington Commanders. I think upgrading the tackle position is definitely in range for them to hit in the first round. So is corner. I think they certainly need help in the secondary as well. But as of right now, those needs don't matter until they get a new quarterback. It's not going to be Taylor Heineke. It's not going to be Carson Wentz. Get them both off the team. Sam Howell is the only quarterback on the roster right now who should still be on the team next season. Go get another one. Now, I'm not saying you have to start Sam Howell. If you want to start Sam Howell, I guess you can, but it's got to be completely different for Washington next year.
Agree.
That's why it didn't make any sense. What about best of the rest? Some superlatives that maybe didn't fit into these categories that we watched from yesterday that you just want to talk about some points.
I just want to touch on the Eagles for a second. Now, obviously, with no Jalen Hurts, it's not really what they're going to be like come playoff time, losing to the Saints. But I do think the loss of Lane Johnson is going to rear its head in a big way. He was, for my money, the most valuable offensive tackle in the NFL. And one, not only in how they schemed with him on the roster, and two, just like the talent. Like, he is as good as it gets in pass protection in the NFL. So they would just leave him on an island, ask that, and then just not worry. It basically adds this level of assuredness to what you can do offensively that they now don't have. Jack Driscoll allowed 5 pressures in this game. Lane Johnson allowed 9 all season long. You're going to face a Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Nick Bosa in the playoffs. If you're going to go to the Super Bowl, you're going to face one of those guys. It is going to be a completely different game with Lane Johnson versus Jack Driscoll blocking those guys. It's just, you're going to have to scheme around if Jack Driscoll's out there. You wouldn't have had to do it if Lane Johnson is, and that just takes your offense to down just a huge tier, in my opinion, that I am a little worried that this team that looked unbeatable for so many parts of the season is now becoming beatable.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. He did not have surgery, right? He still wants to come back.
I believe so.
So he's not playing next week. Let's say they play Jalen Hurts. Let's kind of believe that Jalen Hurts was close to playing this week, because this is kind of my argument in favor of the Eagles. Say that Jalen Hurts can play next week. It's a Giants team that really has nothing to play for.
Correct.
So they're probably not going to play their starters for the whole game if they play them at all. Eagles are going to pick up the win. That means that they're going to get the 1 seed. So you get an extra week off. So Lane Johnson's going to miss this next week. He's going to miss the week after. I think he could be back for the Eagles' first playoff game, which would be big for them. Yes. I agree. But I'm just kind of showing that path to where I agree with you. Not having Lane Johnson is going to be huge, but maybe they don't have to play without Lane Johnson in the playoffs.
We shall see. I'm just saying, if he's not there,
then it's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal. I'm a little bit worried about the Chiefs' lack of running game, right? We talk about the Chiefs' passing game all the time. Everything that Mahomes can do, everything that Travis Kelce can do, the rest of those receivers, how dynamic that Kadarius Toney is in that offense. Like, everything that they're able to do on offense revolves around Patrick Mahomes' arm. But when you get into the playoffs, when you're playing against the Cincinnati Bengals or the Buffalo Bills, these elite quarterbacks, it is true that the best defense for some of these guys is keeping them on the sideline, not allowing them to be out on the field. The way that you do that is you control the clock, you control the game, especially when you're a team like the Chiefs, which could get early leads against some of these teams. And I don't know if the Chiefs really have faith in their run game right now. And that's something that kind of worries me. If you cannot control the clock when you need to against some of the best teams and keep your offense out there on the field, keep the defense tired, and just keep the ball out of the hands of some really good quarterbacks on the other side of things, that can sometimes be the X factors for these playoff games. So for the Chiefs, no, it's not hurting them down the stretch because they've got the easiest schedule in the NFL down the stretch. They're going to win out. We already know that. But I think they had 34 total yards as a team, maybe 40 total yards as a team yesterday on the ground. It's just got to be different. This second week in a row where it felt like they're not really trusting the run game the way you would want a playoff team to. Balance does not mean 50-50. That's not what balance means. Balance means that you are complementing the strengths of your team the way that you need to. And when it comes to running the ball, we know it's always going to be a secondary factor to Patrick Mahomes' arm. But you still have to be able to do it. You have to be able to pick up first downs. You have to be able to keep the clock moving. You have to be able to keep time in possession. And I'm a little worried that we're starting to see a trend now that the Chiefs either can't do that or are not committed to doing that because we've seen it a couple weeks in a row now.
Yeah, they have to be praying for the Bengals tonight. They just have to be, because I don't think this team, and now obviously the AFC is just a gauntlet, but I don't think this team can make it through 3 games in the AFC playoffs. They need the bye. They need to be getting, the lowest seed in the second round when they do play, because
highest seed, lowest seed, highest seed,
whatever it is.
Whatever
we've seen them. They've lost to the Bills. They've lost to the Bengals already this season. This is a team that is like you said, a little one-dimensional offensively, and I just don't think that. And I think at some point that will get exposed if they have to go through what is, a very stacked AFC playoff.
All right, you got another one?
I do. I want to give a shout out to Kenny Pickett, Steelers. That was the best drive he's had all season long.
Yes.
The game winner. That was big boy drive. That was, what you want out of a franchise quarterback. And now Kenny Pickett, when moved off his spot, I think the most encouraging thing I've seen from him was obviously his play outside of structure was a massive selling point for him coming out of Pitt. 3rd highest graded quarterback in the NFL this season when moved off his spot. Outside of structure stuff, he's brought that to the table wholesale. The inside of structure stuff will come in time, hopefully, and also come maybe if you get a better offensive coordinator.
I was impressed.
Yeah, I
was impressed, man. Him and Pickett are playing, Pickens are playing really well this season, and I like this combination a lot moving forward. I have a question for you for my final one.
Got it.
Los Angeles Chargers. Potentially this year's 2021 Cincinnati Bengals?
Don't even.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
They cannot tackle. Their defense.
Offense is getting healthy. They've got a lot of playmakers. Justin Herbert's an unbelievable quarterback. They can lean on Austin Eckler in so many different ways. They're getting Joey Bosa back. Defensive line's playing better. Secondary's playing better. They're going to get Derwin James back.
See, the Bengals, in my opinion, have the talent defensively last year. They always had the talent defensively. I just don't see it from the Chargers. Now, they're just too – the Bengals were a complete defense, and they won through the playoffs last year because of that.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers are not. They are one-dimensional. They lean on high-end players to carry them through games, whether it's Derwin, whether it's Khalil Mack. They need those guys to show up. That's not a recipe for consistency come playoff time, in my opinion. They're still one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL. I'm just saying. Go. Hey, you'll look smart in a few weeks if it happens.
If it happens. I also just wanted to shout out the Lions again, an incredible offensive performance, 41 points again, one of the best offenses in the NFL. Ben Johnson's going to get paid this offseason.
Well, that's the biggest thing is he is putting on a masterclass.
Yes,
that is
every single week with this offense.
Shane Steichen are your offensive gurus that are going to be getting the next head coaching jobs.
I agree. Because as of right now, I would agree with Lions fans in the chat. Jared Goff's doing enough. You can clearly win. You can win with this Lions team with Jared Goff. They're scoring 40 points all the time. But what happens next year if Ben Johnson's gone?
That's the thing.
Do you want to go all in and say, no, we're still good with Jared Goff? Because if you tell me that Ben Johnson's going to be back as offensive coordinator, if you basically look at him and say, we're going to make you the highest paid offensive coordinator in football, if he doesn't like these other head coaching options, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, whatever it is, then all of a sudden – Lions can go in on defense and free agency. They can go heavy on defense with their 2 first-round picks in the draft. Yeah. And this Lions team could make a lot of noise next year if they keep Ben Johnson. But if they don't, I don't know.
That's the worry. Right?
I just want to throw that one out there.
It's kind of akin to, not completely, but when the Falcons lost, obviously with Kyle Shanahan to the 49ers. Yeah, they were fine next year offensively. They weren't that level. And I think you're going to see that if they lose Ben Johnson. You're going to be fine. But you're not that level that they are right now that's getting them to the playoffs. I do have to give a shout-out, though. Their draft track record, I'm blanking on Holmes. Brad Holmes. Draft track record since getting there. Lights. He has added talent to this roster at a number of different positions. Hats off to him. Past couple drafts, knocked out the park. So
James Houston.
Different. Oh, my God. James Houston. Like,
he has 8 sacks.
He has
8 sacks on the season.
Such a unique dude. 6'1", 225, rushing the passer like he's Von Miller out there. That guy, very excited to see his development and what he can be because that's a unique skill set that he brings.
He is truly dominating in space. It's unbelievable. He's going wide now. What do we got here?
Look at this. Our guy Mitch coming up big.
This is perfect. This is perfect timing too. Yes. What do we got? Miller Lights. All right. So this is also perfect timing.
Cheers.
Because we're gonna get into a tailgate draft right now.
Draft.
This is something that we wanted to do here to capture the vibe of what is going to be best NFL game all season.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to have a little tailgate draft where we are forming the perfect tailgate. Now, we got this broken up into different categories. Drinks, food, music, location, and then activity that you have.
Yep.
You want to just go back and forth?
Yeah, we'll go back and forth. Let me break it off. We're doing drink first because I have to give a shout-out to Miller Lite would be the drink of choice at a tailgate if I were to be picking. If you don't have it there,
you're big Miller
Lite. I'm not coming to your tailgate. That's I would.
Like
I'd bring my own, but yeah.
I mean, this is kind of unfair because we're holding Miller Lights and you're giving respect to Miller Lights. I guess for drinks, so you're going Miller.
Yeah.
Can I just say like seltzers?
Yeah, that's
fair.
That's
Can
kind
I
of a
say
cop-out
seltzers?
answer, but
do I need like a certain one?
Yeah, you got to name one.
Probably go High Noons.
Okay, High Noons.
Probably go High
Noons is a good choice.
I think if I'm ranking seltzers, I mean I haven't had like the crazy ones that I feel like everybody's had, but High Noon.
Okay.
Then I think Vizzy is next for me.
Oh, dude, that's
good pull.
Wrong.
No, good.
You like Vizzies?
Dude, I like Vizzies. Yeah.
Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah. Antioxidants.
No, they got
healthy.
Great. Yeah, it's healthy.
Superfruit acerola.
It's a super seltzer. That's what it is.
So I got crack my top.
I got High Noon. I got Vizzy.
Yeah.
Ranch Water.
Ranch Water's great. Ranch Water's top 3.
It used to be Truly, but now there's just like there's too much syrup in them. I can't do it.
Truly also has the most flavors of any company I've ever seen.
They do,
they come
for
out,
sure.
Well, I can't even keep track of their flavors at this point.
And then it'd be like White Claw after that.
Okay.
You know, mango, of course. Mango is the go-to. All right. So
I also will say, shout out if a tailgate has Fireball, that's always a good. If you're doing like
but you can't for a tailgate draft. Because I thought about this.
You can't just have Fireball.
Say Fireball.
If I'm at tailgate and there's just Fireball, that's a problem.
You're going to be on the ground in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's why I also would have gone with either Miller Lite or Coors Light if I had the top pick. But seltzers, I'm all right with because it's something you could drink the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
When I was in college, the move was Four Loko at the tailgate. That was when they just came out.
The original formula.
Yeah.
You're an
OG formula. They were
an actual degenerate.
Yeah.
Food.
Okay.
Wait. Do I get to go first?
You get to pick. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got to look at my big board. Hold on. I got to look at my big board. All right. This one by far number 1 for food for me.
Okay.
Bratwurst.
Okay, good.
That
was not my number 1.
Bratwurst is it is the taste of the tailgate, man.
That was my number 2.
You got the carbs, you got the bun, you got obviously like the thick meat. Ayo. Obviously, I'm a mustard guy.
Yeah.
To me, that is tailgate.
If someone has a grill and they're also throwing peppers and onions and brats, that's really all you need.
Can't be
touched.
touched.
Do you guys do the sauerkraut? You like sauerkraut?
I could do sauerkraut.
I can do sauerkraut if I have the choice. I'm probably just going like peppers and mustard.
Yeah. Peppers, onions,
but
mustard.
I won't like if somebody is saying like, "Hey, I make the best sauerkraut. You got to have with sauerkraut." I'm not going to insult somebody's heritage like that. So I am a little upset that you got light beer.
Yeah, sorry.
Because light beer brat combo,
unbeatable.
But what's your food? What do you got?
Someone said Argentinian beef. GDLT said Argentinian beef for a tailgate food. Yeah, great. I
Sure.
also would love
If
Wagyu
they want to bring
beef.
it, I'll try it.
A5 Wagyu is my
let's
pick.
get Jeff Ruby's catered to our tailgate.
I'm going to get a 40-ounce ribeye.
My favorite tailgate food, brat's number 2, but chicken legs are, in my opinion, the best tailgate food.
Okay, all right, elaborate on this for me.
So just like the leg, because one, you don't need anything else.
Like the size of like a turkey leg?
Well, like a chicken leg, just like a drumstick. Like a drumstick.
But you're talking a wing.
No. Like the
He's
big,
talking like Renaissance Festival.
like a
Yeah,
big
so like a fair, like a giant, like a fair.
Not the big one, not like a turkey leg. But
What are
like,
you saying?
You've never had a turkey leg before.
No,
or I mean a chicken leg before. It's just
Do you
a
have good
chicken
internet?
leg. Drumsticks, chicken drumsticks.
So like a chicken wing.
Yeah, but
So like
it's
drums
bigger.
and flats with the drums.
Have you never had a chicken? Okay, so that is just, you don't need anything else. You can just eat it. You don't need a bun. You don't need a plate. You just can pick them up and eat them. That's why it's viable.
The thing that I'd be worried about this.
Okay.
Lack of carb. You know.
Carbs.
If you're drinking a lot,
True.
you kind of need a little bit of.
Well, then you have like chips and shit.
Sure.
So, but that's my number one.
Okay, all right. So you're going with a chicken wing, which we're still researching the exact size and what exactly goes into this. But what also was on my list? Because I think finger food's key at a tailgate, right? Mm-hmm. Look, I've made a plate at a tailgate before, but then you gotta sit down, you gotta find a table, it's like awkward. Like you get silverware. Like what are you doing? Finger food. Mm-hmm. Sliders was the other one. If you would have happened to take brats, I would have gone some sort of slider. Some sort of like
Daniel
pork
in the chat
slider.
just went slider.
Yeah, slider's elite. Just like something you can fit in your hand. All right, that's great. All right, music. Now you were up first with music.
Music is one type of music. Classic rock.
I knew you were going to pick it, and it is number one.
And it just takes me back to going to Packer games as a kid. I think the Green Bay is just still stuck in the 1980s. So all they would play, all you would hear is just like stuff from 1975 to 1990. That's all you'd hear, and it's great. Can't go wrong.
It's something everybody knows.
Exactly.
Everybody can sing along to it. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's very upbeat. You of course have Thunderstruck in there as well, which anytime that guitar riff comes on, everybody knows they got to grab a drink, get in the circle, make it happen. That's number one. Yep. That was number one on my power rankings as well. It was going number one no matter what. For music, it was a toss-up for number two. A good country music playlist is also very good for a tailgate.
100%.
But I think I'm just going to go with more of a compilation playlist of like hits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
top 40.
like pop, like top 40 something. And okay, this might be a strange poll. This might be a strange poll here.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Two Friends
Big Booty Mix?
Yeah,
duh. That hits.
That is the exact one. I didn't.
No, just say that. That's perfect.
Did not write Two Friends Big Booty Mix.
Because
I didn't want Quinn to put that on the topic bar and for me to just get screenshotted. People like, what is he talking about here?
Well, I might see if they can put it on the loudspeakers here after we're done. Is that a Spotify playlist?
It'll be a jam. It'll be a jam. YouTube, Spotify, everything. It is like a top 40, but they mix it. They're DJs, so they like mix it really, really well.
If you're trying to like show people your music taste at a playlist, you've done it wrong. Your music taste at a tailgate, you've done it wrong. You're like, you need to have songs playing that everyone knows.
You can't, you can't being the aux person on a car ride is different than being the aux person at a tailgate. Yeah. You can't just be sitting there on your phone at a tailgate, like wondering whether you need to skip the song next or like what's coming on next. It needs to be a playlist you can just hit play on. Classic rock playlist, absolutely, that's one of them. And Two Friends Big Booty Mix. If you haven't heard it, I'm telling you, go check it out. Okay, location. So I got the first pick with this one. Location, this next one.
Yeah, hit it.
I only have one location written on my big board.
Okay.
Because it's the only one to me that I think I could have taken to number one. It's a straight up parking lot.
Parking lot, yeah.
It is just a parking lot tailgate. Chairs, table, food's everywhere, music's blasting, so many people walking around. You're throwing the football to random people you've never met before. They're throwing it back. You're jamming with other people's music. You're challenging people across the street to cornhole or whatever it is, not to say picks, but I think a parking lot is just whether it's a grass parking lot, whether it's a gravel, whatever it is, man. That is the ultimate tailgate vibe to me.
Yeah, that's easy lot. Number one. I wrote field. If you go to like SEC country, they tailgate, they set up their stuff
campus?
On the quad on campus.
I could buy that. Yeah,
we'll say that, but parking lots, it doesn't hold a candle.
Undefeated.
All right, activity, last one, and this one I was split on. I had two things written down here, but I'm gonna go cornhole. I think cornhole is still the best one to go with.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Cornhole is still the best tailgate activity. Obviously a little intensive. You got to bring the boards. You got to have the bags.
Cornhole
but once
is the
you do,
best,
it's great. It's the best.
I think there's three. There's three that I thought of.
Okay.
And since you picked your one, obviously cornhole's one, beer dye's another, and beer pong is obviously like the third game.
Beer pong gets tough if it's windy. Is the only thing outside.
It is. It does get tough. And like some people out there would be like, oh, like what about like flip cup and things like that? You get more people involved. Look, the more people that get involved, the more people aren't going to care about it. And I get really annoyed because I'm super competitive. I want to win the game. There's a lot of people that are just like talking to their friends, not caring about flip cup. I'm there to win.
Yeah.
So I don't want flip cup. Flip cup's out of here. I think I got to go beer dye.
Yeah, fair.
I didn't start playing beer dye until like a year and a half ago. But I think after cornhole, it's my favorite tailgate game.
I agree.
The competition level is incredible. It's a combination of hand-eye coordination and also, trajectory. You got geometry you got to factor in there,
And the die does not move in the wind as much as the ping pong ball.
Highly competitive.
Yeah.
Good rules, not too complicated. If you never played beer dye out there, you need to go for it. Okay,
all right,
so
we'll have the people rank who had the better tailgate.
All right, who had the better tailgate? So my tailgate, we're at a parking lot, all right? The drink, seltzers, I guess I picked high noon, but really you can bring whatever seltzer you want. We're serving up bratwurst on the grill, so the grill's firing hard. We're playing a compilation playlist. We're firing up Two Friends Big Booty Mix. And we're playing beer dye until there is only one champion left. One champion standing.
Okay. At mine, we're drinking Miller Lite. We're eating chicken legs, which Trevor's never had. We're listening to
I don't know what
classic
it
rock.
is.
We're on a campus, and we're playing cornhole. There you have it.
It's solid.
Solid.
I'd come to your tailgate.
I'd come to yours, too. I'd come to any fucking tailgate. Let's be real.
Let's be real. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 8 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what we're going to be doing for the next 8 hours, just walking around basically, whether it's a bar scene, whether it's a parking lot scene, whatever. It's going to be a massive
find some chicken legs.
tailgate. Look, I'm going to walk around. I'm just going to go up to people and be like, do you have chicken wings? Hey, no, not chicken wings. Do you have chicken legs? I'm just going to say chicken legs. And you'll be like, what do you mean, like a wing? And I'm like, no, not a wing. And they're going to be like, what do you mean, like a turkey leg? And be like, no, not a turkey leg. And I'm going to try to find one of them. If you find one of them, you got to let me know. All right, let's preview this game that we got coming on tonight.
Yes.
Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals. We'll get into the line, the over-under. We'll give you guys a prop bet, of course, before we get out of here. But, Mike, just overall thoughts going into this one. We looked at the schedule the early part of the year, and we went, wow, this game could be monumental. And it's everything that we thought that it was going to be and more. With the one seed still on the line, division title still on the line. What do you think about this matchup? Where do you think the X factors are?
I think the one matchup, I like the Bengals in a lot of different ways. The one matchup that scares me is Sikkema Mike, right tackle, versus Greg Rousseau. That is a mismatch. You're going to have to scheme around it. You're going to have to adjust your offense to account for it. And it's not like Lyle Collins is playing great, but what we saw from Sikkema Mike last week, 5 pressures in his first start, it could go way south. And Greg Rousseau is one of the more underrated edge defenders in the NFL this season. Massive step from year 1 to year 2. His length creates a ton of problems for opposing offensive tackles. So if you don't adjust, if they can't handle that matchup, the Bills could very easily shut down this Bengals offense. But I do just think the Bengals have so many options offensively, and the Buffalo Bills secondary has not, I'd say been what they had hoped at the beginning of the season. Obviously, injuries played a role in that. But, I do think besides that matchup, a lot of signs point to the Bengals in this one.
I think it's a massive game for Bengals wide receivers not named Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar's going to get his. I feel like this is a 7-catch, 79-yard performance coming up for Jamar Chase. But I feel like if they're really going to hit him hard, it's going to be Higgins going over 100 yards. It's going to be Trenton Irwin being the savior of this team like he has been over the last couple of weeks. It's going to be him stepping up big. It's going to be Joe Mixon getting involved. Obviously, the run game's got to be a lot better for the Cincinnati Bengals. But it feels like you've got to have your secondary star. Seems like such a slap in the face to T. Higgins, so I don't even want to say that. But it feels like those guys have got to show up a lot. We know that Burrow's going to show up. We know that Jamar Chase is going to show up. But in order to outscore this Buffalo Bills team, it has to be an entire team effort on offense. So I'm really looking towards that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and certainly what they could do out of the backfield as well for the Bengals to be victorious in this one. And on the Bills side of things, how much damage can Josh Allen do with his legs? I know that feels like an obvious one, but that is such a massive factor for them because you look at what happened last week with them basically having 2 100-yard rushers, and you go, wow, okay, maybe they don't need Josh Allen to pick it up with his legs. I still think that's going to be an important factor in this game. The damage that he can do, and more importantly, maybe not even the total yards. I'm not saying if Josh Allen gets more than 50 yards, 60 yards, then they're going to win the game. It's the first downs. That's going to be the big thing to me. Is his legs a true weapon that's really able to convert on third downs, continue to get drives going. Like, those are the two on those sides of the ball. Those are the two X factors for me.
Yeah, the one thing I think it's cliche to say the game's going to come down to turnovers, but Bills, third most giveaways in the NFL. Bengals, third fewest giveaways in the NFL.
Yeah,
I think that could
Allen's
end
been
up
better
being,
at that lately, though, right?
It has been
I feel like it was in the middle of the year. It was a little shaky. Now he's been better at it.
Still, though, 10 turnover-worthy plays over the last 5 games. So
yeah, then that's definitely an area where they can. X factor player, of course, Rip Wilson.
Rip. Can
he contain the run game of the Buffalo Bills?
Well, I think they're also well situated with him, Jermaine Pratt. Like, those guys can track down Josh Allen. They are not. They are athletic linebackers.
I agree. But then you've got to do it. You've got to be able to wrap them up. You've got to be able to contain them. Those are the X factors that we got. I mean, obviously, a lot of those have been talked about already, but they're going to be huge. There's so many different ways that you could point to the talent on both of these teams making a big difference in this one, and this is what's going to make it one of the biggest games of the year. Cincinnati at home getting a point. Bills are still the favorite in this game as the road team. For as much as I know Cincinnati Bengals fans are going to show out to this one, I certainly heard a lot of Buffalo Bills fans at the bars last night partying it up, ready to watch their team here on this one. Yeah, we've got them here in the bar as well. So we know the Buffalo Bills fans are going to invade Paycor Stadium as much as possible. So it's going to be loud no matter who has the ball. And it's going to be fun.
It will be an incredible atmosphere, but I am still going to go home dogs. Give me the point.
You're going the Bengals?
Give me the Bengals. I do just think they're a tough team to beat right now, and because they're so complete, right? Because there's just not a lot of, they don't shoot themselves in the foot a ton, and they don't give up. They don't bust coverages, give you easy stuff defensively that you're going to have to come and take it away from this Bengals team right now. And just Bengals at home right now have just been such a house that I don't think a lot of teams are going to be able to come in here and take it away from them.
Over-under's 49.5.
I like the under. I think a little defensive battle, tight one. Even though the weather's gorgeous here. The weather will not be a factor.
And then finally, give me a prop bet.
Prop bet, I am going to go, because the highlighted the Bengals linebacker duo, I'm going to go Dawson Knox under 36.5 receptions. Or receiving yards, excuse me. That'd be a lot of receptions. Just because I think we're going to see them try to go big plays to the wide receivers in this one. May not be an underneath passing game for the Bills.
I think I would have taken whatever team was getting points in this game.
Yeah, fair.
The Bills were getting a point. Might have been taking the Buffalo Bills, but Cincinnati's getting a point, so I'm taking the Bengals. They've been unbelievable at home. We pointed that out here on this show, how Cincinnati is becoming a place where teams don't want to travel to. Yeah. They play so well here at home. The momentum that they have, everything that they're able to do, they fire on all cylinders when they're playing at home. Not that they don't do it on the road, but it feels like it's just a different feeling and a different level that they can take it to when they've got their home fans here. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati getting a point as well. I'm going to say the over.
Okay.
Give me a shoot.
That'd be a fun game.
Give me a shootout tonight,
Playoff
man.
Josh Allen.
I would love to see it. Over 49.5 means that we're getting something in the 20s, something in the 30s from both of these teams back and forth all game long. I think this game's going to go over. And then because of what I talked about before, containing Josh Allen's rushing ability, I think the Bengals are going to put a lot of focus on that. And because of that, I'm going to say over 22.5 completions for Josh Allen. I think that he's going to have to hang in the pocket a little bit more. He's going to have to get rid of the football, even if it's just dump off passes. I don't think they're going to give him those running lanes. I think they're going to truly emphasize that. Lou Anarumo is one of the best defense coordinators in the NFL. He's going to make sure that's on lock. So that's our predictions for the game. I can't load the chat. I would love to load the chat and see what you guys are seeing watching the show. But
we got Nick Martini saying 31-28 Bengals. We got a lot of Bengals love.
31-28. Okay, yeah. Read them off for me. We
got Brandon Riedlick saying going over. Daniel Sauter saying the Bills pregame meal should be Skyline Chili. That's probably a terrible decision. What else we got?
I don't know if I do that. Although, didn't Josh Allen say he throws up before every game?
Daniel's saying it's going to, if Burrow doesn't establish himself as a drip godson, he'll be upset. It may come down to Joe Burrow's pregame outfit.
Ooh, it might.
It very well
We might have to have an honorary Tuesday edition of Drip or Skip just for this game.
Yeah, we will.
Quinn, be on the lookout for that. Might need to have a Drip or Skip.
I'm never not.
Okay.
I think we were planning on doing Drip or Skip tomorrow anyway. Just because there's a lot of good ones, and obviously we couldn't do it today because we're here at Holy Grail. But we'll get those.
All right. Okay.
We'll have some good stuff.
Okay.
All right. Question
of the day before we get out of here, and then finish the rest of these beers.
Oh yeah.
7 quarterbacks have thrown for 40 touchdown passes multiple times in their careers. Who are they?
We said.
Give your final answers in the chat right now.
We said Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is 5.
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is 6.
And Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't think it's Ben.
Don't think it's Ben?
I don't think it's Ben.
I don't know that. I really don't have a great handle on who 7 would be. I could even see us missing one, like Rodgers not being one, or Mahomes definitely. But all right, who is it?
Culpepper could very well be 1.
I want to see. I'm looking up Dante Culpepper stats right now just to see.
I like that poll.
I'm pretty sure he did it once. Maybe not though. Maybe I'm just. Oh no, he had 39.
Oh, brutal. But he only had once. He only did that once.
Yeah, he led the league though in 2000 with 33, but 39. 40. I don't know. Who is that? Quinn.
You want to give?
Who's the 7th one?
You're not going to give a. You're not going to.
Oh yeah. Let me give a final one.
Active quarterback.
It is an active quarterback.
Yeah. All that we missed.
I'm gonna go.
Sort of active.
Sort of.
Oh no. Is it?
Who's a legend that's still around? Josh Johnson's a good guess always. No, I'm just kidding.
Sort of active.
Sort of active.
Does that mean Derek Carr? No.
I'm saying Derek Carr. I'm saying Derek Carr. I said it at the top of the show. I'm gonna say Derek Carr is my
second.
It's Stafford.
Oh, it is.
So he's on an active roster, but he hasn't played in a while.
Damn it.
It's so Rodgers and Brady, they've done it 3 times.
Okay.
Reno, Breeze, Stafford, Peyton Manning, and then Patrick Mahomes, obviously yesterday.
Damn it.
Just did it again. That's shout out our guy Brad Spielberg. He tweeted that out.
There we go.
So
all right.
That's the inspiration for the question.
Stafford.
Oh, I should have guessed Stafford.
When did he do it with the Lions? I'm gonna look that
Was
one
it the
up.
Calvin Johnson year?
Possibly. Probably
Like the 2,000-yard year?
Let's see. Would that be your guess?
I should have guessed Matthew Stafford.
He went for 40, obviously last year, and he did it in 2011. I think that was Johnson's.
Do we have a chat champ on the day before we get out of here?
Yep, we do. Brandon Ryblick. He said it's his first live show. He's a big PFF guy. I think he was a big Tailgate fan. I've seen him on some stuff. So shout out Brandon. Appreciate you catching live.
Shout out Brandon, winning chat champ of the day, which means he's got to represent the chat champ tomorrow as we do everybody's favorite segment, Dogs of the Week. Mm-hmm. Same time, not the same place. We won't be at Holy Grail. Shoot, maybe we will. I mean, if we keep getting beers here, maybe we'll just do the show from this spot all week. But no matter where we're going to be, we'll be live with you guys at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Quinn, anything before we get out of here? Any final words?
Go Bengals.
Go Bengals, baby.
Mike. What other words would?
Mike, any final words?
Huda.
You love to see it. Well, the Bills fans here at the bar don't love to see it. But appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everybody here live watching. Appreciate everybody in the chat tuning into the show. We will be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow on PFF's YouTube channel. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Mike Renner. For the guys at the production table today and everybody here who watches live at Holy Grail, thank you so much for watching this football. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
It's not about politics. It's about football.
This is a simple game.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to pass the ball. He's just going to play football, really.
How good of a football player are you?
Not just get in and try to spin it. That's all.
I just love the game.
It really is the best time of the year.